Well, hi, everybody. I'm Bob Penrod, and welcome to Real Estate Today, brought to you by Weichert Realtors. I was just telling Dan Dempsey here and Jeanne Gavish that I spent all day Saturday at the 19th Annual Suncoast Dixieland Jazz Classic down in Clearwater Beach. And this that you just heard is a group that I just heard for the first time. It's six young women who are all very, very talented. Each one plays their own musical instrument. They play Dixieland jazz. And what gets your attention is the name of their band. It's called Mighty Aphrodite. So, Dan, how are you?
I'm good. Not apparently as good as you, but I'm doing good.
Well, nice to see you again.
That is good music, and I'm sure that's all you enjoyed was the good music. So welcome, everybody, to Real Estate Today again. And can you believe that Thanksgiving is just a few days away? And we would like to, first of all, wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, be careful, and have a great time. It should remind you of your family. Hope you all get together and enjoy it. And always the food. And, of course, if you're like me, then it's football. So have a great weekend, and we appreciate you listening in today. We are really excited today because we got Jeanne Gavish with us, and she's probably one of the most qualified real estate agents, brokers in our area. And there's nothing she doesn't know about real estate. She knows it all 100%. So we're in good hands today. Jeanne, it's real good to have you with us, and we're going to talk about the market and different things in real estate, and we're going to pick your brain.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it.
First and foremost, all of us in real estate, we want to know what the market's doing today and how you see it, because you've been around for a long time. Well, I don't mean that as an insult.
No, I take it as you mean it.
But you've been an agent for a while, so you've seen ups and downs. And how do you see the market today?
Well, the market is active if the price is right. The last 3 years were quiet beyond anything we had ever experienced, and the million-dollar question was, when's it going to change? When's it going to change? There are people who would like to be out of Florida who can't sell their houses. There are people who would like to move to Florida who can't sell their houses, and that was the big stoppage point for a very long time. And prices have dropped to a point where no one seems to be able to resist them, and so the market is extremely active. The majority of our sales right now are cash. The financing industry is very difficult. The lenders are struggling to make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed, and that makes it very frustrating. The foreclosure market and the short sale market is brisk, and there was a major shift in lending appraisals in the recent history. Up until this past year, a short sale or a foreclosure would not be considered in an appraisal because it was not considered a normal sale, and they are now required to use short sales and foreclosures in their appraisals, and that has driven the prices down for your seller-owned home, which makes it so that the only people who are selling right now are people who have to. But there are enough who have to keep the market brisk, and the buyers are coming out in droves. In this last quarter, the home prices in the Tampa Bay area have dropped about 17%, but the number of homes sold have increased by 20%.
Is there a range of what most people are buying, since you say most of the sales are cash sales?
The majority of them in the last year have been cash sales.
So we're going to assume that they're low end. Or is that a wrong assumption?
Well, when we do our numbers, they include us in the Tampa Bay area. The Tampa Bay area, of course, encompasses Clearwater, St. Petersburg, Tampa, and in general, the average home price sale is $140,000. Now, that is not anywhere near what the average home price is here. We're much lower than that. I'd say that our average home price now is back around $90,000, maybe $100,000, and that's just my own personal opinion based on my experience. There are buyers who were racing to be able to take advantage of the first-time home buyer's tax credit, And there was a collective sigh of relief when we got a reprieve now through April. As long as your contract is written by April, you do qualify for that $8,000 tax credit. And that has been very instrumental in bringing buyers out. A lot of the cash sales are parents who are fronting the money for their children for them to be able to take advantage of being a home buyer, because as the home prices increased over the past 7 or 8 years, home ownership became out of the reach of a lot of our middle-class people here in this county. There were so many people in the 2002, 2003 that had one more thing to fix on their credit. And when they finally did get that adjusted, they looked at the home prices and they could no longer afford to buy a home. So they can now. And a lot of parents are helping their children buy homes, and that's where a lot of the sales that are cash are coming from.
Of course, I remember 50 years ago when my wife and I first bought our house. It was $20,900.
Yeah.
$20,900, and there was no way Shirley and I could afford to do anything like that.
Right.
So our parents lent us the money.
Yes.
And, of course, we paid it back.
And that's happening again.
Yes.
That is happening again. Now, Hernando County has one advantage that most of Hillsborough and Pinellas and some of Pasco do not have. We know that FHA has increased their cash down payment requirement, and that was not good news. There are no more 95% conventional loans. The mortgage insurance companies are not being forthcoming with their share now with conventional lending. However, Hernando County qualifies for the United States Department of Agriculture's Rural Housing Loan, and that is 100% financing. The property has to qualify, and all of Hernando County is still considered to be rural. And so we qualify for that loan, and they do still allow the seller to pay the buyer's closing costs. So as long as the home will appraise, we still do have those 100% loans available with the seller paying closing costs. The difference from the old days to today, the old days being during the crazy days, is that they have to fully qualify their income. So there won't be any more of those
stated incomes out.
No more stated income, none of those. But 100% financing is still very exciting. And seller paying.
Right.
And if they are totally qualified, and there's no doubt in anybody's mind, I guess there's no problem with it. But the old thing, the old proportion of put 20% down or whatever, showed that they were able to handle it.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we kind of let that go by the wayside.
Well, that's back.
No,
because there are no 95% conventional loans. So if you're going to go conventional, they used to, even the conventional lenders were allowing a lower interest rate and less down payment if it was considered to be your second home. Until recently, there are no more second home concessions. It's either your primary residence or investor now. And so they're requiring as much as 20 and 30% down, depending on
what's
who you
the
are.
extra difficulties as far as the loan department, as you see it, because we have so many modular homes, trailers, and the stipulation on them is a lot more strict than just the conventional home, correct?
Well, yes. A modular home is not in the same criteria as a manufactured
home. Right, it's considered a home, yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a prejudice against modular homes, which is unfortunate. But as far as manufactured homes are concerned, FHA is still lending on manufactured homes. So truly, you only need 3.5% down in order to qualify for a double wide.
Right.
Other than that, it is 20%. It is 20% down. There are still some local banks. I don't know if I'm supposed to plug any local bank or not, but I know that Capital City is still lending on manufactured homes, and some of the other local banks are also.
Well, this
but it is
great.
Getting harder.
Well, so what do you think? Everybody likes to predict the future, but how do you see the housing market in the coming year or two?
Well, an interesting fact is that just when we say, okay, this has to be it, something else comes up. And so up until now, it's been how many waves of foreclosures are we going to have as the 1-year ARMs, the 2-year ARMs, the 3-year ARMs, and the 5-year ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, reset. That's not what the pending foreclosures are right now. The foreclosures now are people who we would not expect